When you think about a creature that kills human life, you may not always think of a mosquito first, but actually, mosquitoes all throughout history have killed more people than anything else on this earth. Mosquitoes have been around for about 190 million years. And the mosquitoes of today really don't look that different from the mosquitoes that were around during the time of the dinosaurs on this planet. So, this came out in the New York Post. Forget sharks, mosquitoes are the deadliest man eaters on earth. And this came out August 3rd, 2019, which actually makes sense because they are the ones that go directly for blood, not only of humans, but blood of animals as well. So if you had to think about something you should fear on this earth, they're saying you should really fear the mosquito even more than the great white shark. Now, mosquitoes are literally everywhere. There's maybe a handful of places on this earth, like Antarctica, where you won't find a mosquito. So the population of mosquitoes have always grown and thrived. And actually, it could thrive here where I am because of all the humidity that's constantly in the air. So this makes a perfect climate and environment for mosquitoes to thrive in. And being that we have all these heat waves and a lot of flooding and standing water, a lot of humidity across the country, it makes a perfect breeding ground for these mosquitoes. So that being said, the mosquito have wreaked havoc on the human population, and it's killed more people all throughout history. So they are talking overall, worldwide, in history, mosquitoes have killed an estimate of 52 billion people on this earth. And it's also believed that it's a mosquito that killed Alexander the Great. He got malaria and he couldn't fight it off, and he ended up succumbing to malaria. And many people also believe the same thing about Genghis Khan. He was out here and he was fighting and he got malaria, which we know all comes from mosquitoes. And if you don't have an immunity to malaria, then it can potentially kill you. Now, that was really the only disease that our people got back in the day. The thing about malaria, once you get it and your body builds up antibodies against it, you can't get malaria twice. Okay, your mosquito can't come along and give it to you a second time. So you become immune to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, these mosquitoes, now we know some of the more recent things that it does, the West Nile and Zika. It also gives worms and parasites as well. Now, I was shocked because it must have been like around 2014, somewhere around there, 2014, 2015. Someone in my township died of West Nile, and he was the only person that died from it. And it was just very strange. I didn't even know West Nile was in my state. We didn't hear a lot of people talking about West Nile over in this part of the state that I'm in. So it was shocking that one of the residents in the township died from it. So, but it's not too shocking. Mosquitoes are everywhere. So these mosquitoes, they're saying, harbor 15 lethal diseases. And I don't believe all of the diseases are natural, ladies and gentlemen. I believe A lot of these things were created in labs, and they put this stuff into the mosquito and then unleash them out on the public. And I really believe that's where Zika came from. It came from labs. Okay, so some of the most toxic diseases that killed people all throughout the years from mosquitoes is malaria, yellow fever, West Nile, Zika, worms, and parasites. All come from mosquitoes. And they said if a swarm is big enough, let's say you get caught up in a swarm of mosquitoes, those mosquitoes could literally drain you in 2 hours. If you had the unfortunately stumble across a swarm of them, yes, they can drain a human body in 2 hours. That is just freaky that they can do that. So when did mosquitoes show up on the planet? They estimate about 190 million years ago. These are only estimations. They don't know for sure. And the mosquitoes have always been what some people feel as a real weapon of mass destruction because of the diseases that they can inject almost in an instant into a human being. Mosquitoes are also responsible for a lot of the heartworms that you see today that dogs get. A lot of people don't realize those heartworms come from mosquitoes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back into some history. Mosquitoes helped topple Alexander the Great. So, they're saying that he developed malaria, and that's what actually killed him. And then there was Genghis Khan, and it's also believed that he his army and everything were halted by malaria. Also, malaria and all kinds of mosquito borne diseases happened during both the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. There were many that succumbed to malaria and died during both of those wars. And that's not where it ended. A lot of the British soldiers that were over here, they were not immune to the malaria that came from mosquitoes, and they died. And believe me, the American soldiers died as well. Um, During the Civil War, soldiers were 5 times more likely to die from malaria in battle. And, the South was always a hotbed for a high mosquito population, and they still are. They still are. During World War II, the Germans also built dikes and marshes that they refilled with brackish water, and they used the mosquitoes as a part of their warfare during World War II. So it was a biological warfare that the Germans used, and the Americans used this stuff too. So, ladies and gentlemen, all I can tell you is be careful. You know, we know mosquitoes are all around us, but just make sure you're checking not only yourself, but your family for these mosquitoes. You know, they're don't accept any vaccines that these folks come up with. There's all kinds of natural things you can do to keep the mosquito bite clean and sanitized, and it will help the mosquito bite go away. So, if you remember in Brazil, they had the outbreak of Zika, and they had more than 200,000 cases of Zika. And you saw the babies born almost look like they only had half of their forehead when they were born. And a lot of that happened in 2017, 2018. And Zika is also here in the US. You can see a lot of the encephalitis also here in this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the list. Mosquitoes, on average, kill more humans than any other animal, including man himself. Here's the annual average number of deaths worldwide caused by mosquitoes. Mosquitoes claim the life of 2 million people every single year. Humans, 475,000. Snakes, 50,000. Sandflies, 25,000. Tsetse flies, 10,000. Crocodiles, 1,000. Hippos, 500. Elephants, 100. Lions, 100. Sharks, 10. And wolves, 10. So that's how many people die at the hands of all of these different animals. So, ladies and gentlemen, just be careful during this season. You know, we all like being outdoors, but just make sure you're protected when you go out there. I usually add peppermint to my lotions in the summer, and I haven't really gotten that many bites this year. There's been years when I have gotten quite a few bites, but this year I haven't really gotten too many. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.